What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're taking a peek over here at the altcoin market as the Bitcoin price sits here above $35,000, and we're witnessing XRP cross above that 65-cent level, along with Ethereum getting a little bit of a breakout here this morning above 1890, along with just a mix of a bunch of green over here in the altcoin market, as our altcoin market caps still continue to grind up as anticipated throughout the year. So as it is the weekend, we'll keep this one pretty brief. We had daylight savings time here in the United States, so I'm up at 3:45 in the morning, and with a bunch of green in the market, why not record a video and take a peek at what's going on? Heading into the weekend, the hope was that we'd actually just see some tame, boring Bitcoin price action, which I think we have. It's actually up a little bit throughout the weekend. We actually spent a lot of the weekend really just tame in here, actually boring, until the last 12 hours, until we kind of got an overnight pop happening here on Bitcoin. But I think one of the nice surprises that we've seen in the market is rather than seeing a divergence occur here in the altcoin market, like we saw back here in 2020, where, flip us to the daily time frame, where Bitcoin grinded up in here, we actually saw the altcoin market pulling back. We don't have that same phenomenon here, where we actually see the altcoin market really rising into this moment, which has been just a pleasant surprise. When looking at the total market cap of crypto, we have started peaking through resistances over here, still trying to get through that preliminary support of our long Wyckoff accumulation that has taken place for the last 18 months. But optimistic things occurring here as total 3, the altcoin market still continues roaring up, just continuing to grind and grind and grind. And as we finally see one of the sleeping giants start to awaken, Ethereum. Of course, as many people have probably noticed, XRP has even woken up this morning, sitting at about 65 cents. I spent some time talking about this in Markets in the Morning this past week, that even in here for XRP, you actually do have Wyckoff accumulation in here. Question is, this whole thing happening in here just being news related? This, of course, is the 100% daily candle that only took 4 hours to play out when the SEC lost in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, where XRP was declared to be not a security and all exchanges, including Coinbase, relisted XRP that very day. Otherwise, we just drifted right back into where we were once the hype and excitement wore off. As I mentioned at that time, the difficulty was that we didn't have an element of a strong Bitcoin in that period. However, we do now. And so now we're starting to see some actual price action happen over here on XRP. The thing is, if we just kind of imagine that not being there and had prices just continued, and had we never had a news-related event to pump the price 100% in 4 hours, what would we look like in here? Well, we would look just like the rest of the market, having Wyckoff accumulation, working on sign of strength, all the same stuff happening in here from the same points, with our selling climax, automatic rallies, secondary test in phase B, and then a long last point of support as we work our way back up to resistance levels. So potentially there being some significance to that move happening here today. And ironically enough, seeing that at the same time Ethereum is actually getting a leave of this range, along with total 3 leaving trend. Total 3 is going to include all of the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum. When we look at total 2, which does put Ethereum in there, of course, it looks a whole lot more familiar to Ethereum, but conceptually the same, right? We have the same accumulation schematic happening in here, which is really what we've talked about for the last year and a half. And it's finally at this point kind of exciting of all right, we're heading into sign of strength. A year and a half of people screaming for 12K. It's not what we've said over here on this channel. Finally, hopefully we're about to get rewarded, which even we see over here on others, which is all of the altcoins excluding the top 10 that, well, the world didn't want to believe it. We had already bottomed and back tested the previous all-time high from 2018 in here. And finally rounding this thing out and turning its way up. And so while we start to see some life breathed into things like this, like with Ethereum and XRP, and, until some signs show up on here for XRP for any type of resistance that would be significant, it would be really just an uneducated guessing game for me at this point. I could randomly argue that that would be a struggle area in there, that 66, 67 cent level, but there's no signs of it happening here yet. So we'd have to wait for the market to actually end up doing something. If we look to like other assets, I've pointed out things like Cardano and the rounding bottom that's been happening in here and the similarities of that to the assets from back in 2018 and 2019 and 2020, that Cardano even like almost like had the same market makers on it that Ethereum Classic had on it in 2017 and 2018. And that if we like even go down in here and be like, hey, where do we start this bull run at? We start it here at the same point. You can see this thing moves at really the same trajectory and then peaks at the same point. And these percentages are actually identical. And then it goes and falls in the same manner, same places. Here's bottoms, right? And now here it's pulling off out of here. The exact same size bull run, exact same size pullback. But what we are seeing a lot of everywhere in the market is these rallies that are happening right here. And we have seen some of them find resistances in here. Essentially, we're watching a lot of assets swallow back 2023 and doing it in a manner of a week or two. For example, we saw Mina shoot to the upside, but where does it stall at, right? We look at the peak from back here in February of earlier this year, so 10 months ago, it shoots back to its 702 retracement and then stalls out. We look at EGLD, which is Multiverse X. Today, it fired up about 40-50% after, climbing its way up. Boom, significant pop. Same story. This one dates back to August. So of this entire range, this entire fall, it swallows back 702. Gonna get a little bigger look at that on a bigger time frame here. Same thing goes for Osmo. A couple of days ago, fired back to the 618 retracement, which is that February range pull down. So lots of these are firing back very quickly to these retracement levels, showing these as being the first level of significant resistance for them. Of course, we've seen things like Chainlink get further out of these ranges and completely escape, along with Solana having the highest prices it's had since August of 2022. So about a year and 3 months. So my eyes are attentive to the retracement levels of 2023's pull downs. So we're talking things like Cardano, right? The first level of resistance these things have shown to have has been these retracement levels back in here. However, a lot of them have just continued to break out, but it doesn't appear that those signs are there for the market to say that's where we're going to stop and that it's all completely over, considering we're really just in the sign of strength phase here in the total market cap, total altcoin market cap, and total altcoin market cap excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. And of course, the altcoin market excluding the top 10. So feels good to let it breathe. There are no signs yet that things are hitting the fan in any way. If anything, just continuing to break out here in others, or the altcoin market excluding the top 10. And well, finally getting some price action for XRP above 64, 65 cents for the first time in over a year and a half. And this not be news related, this be market strength related. It will, of course, make sense if we have to work out this sign of strength range for a longer period of time than what we have already. Similarly to like we've shown over here on Bitcoin and the amount of time that it took to really grind through here last time for an equivalence of where we'd be right now. It'd be like being here, being like kind of halfway through this grind out that we've been in, which has been almost 2 weeks. So long as this is sign of strength and there is a big breakout coming, it still would make sense if there's a couple more weeks of having to grind through here. However, it certainly has been surprising to see that the altcoin market has held up so well. And for that, I'm thrilled. Because if there is any place we've seen a divergence happen in the market, it's here, and we're not getting it, and that's awesome. So up and away these market caps go. Ethereum trying to go for that break, and the altcoin market, others excluding top 10, just still continuing to go. Definitely in levels that are exciting for XRP, but of course, retracement levels still. Nothing means bull run until you start setting new highs in here. At this point right now, we've essentially retraced a little less than 50% of the move down that we have done. The thing that we are noticing, of course, with XRP is it is moving with the market, which it always does. And in order to get super thrilled about price action in here, of course, for me, it'll be let's get that altcoin market really breaking out of here. But if you want me to tickle your FOMO a little bit in here, of course, we know that XRP has pulled back 85.5% as we did back here in 2015 and 16 into a long consolidation. We got a little trickery over there with the breakout happening from the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit and the timing of when it all occurred. But of course, if we actually just look at how much time was actually spent in the consolidation range as well, we could see that we're right there on the same amount of time from when that actually started breaking out in here. And what is the element that was missing that we were talking about back in here? but we do have it now, is Bitcoin. And, well, looking a little bit closer at it as well, right? These are when all of our little phases align in here for our consolidations and all this stuff. But we got our little SEC lawsuit happening right in here. Line up the timing of these events happening in here. Where are you at? So are we on the cusp of it? I sure hope so. Otherwise, a nice green weekend over here in the cryptocurrency market. We have seen some of these coins that have already shot up 150%, find resistances there at their 2023 702 retracements. So keep your eyes open for that. Otherwise, it is not uncommon to be seeing plus 20%, plus 30% on various altcoins throughout the market right now. On that note, we'll keep it brief here for this weekend check-in. We'll cheer for those market caps to continue breaking out. And otherwise, I hope that you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And hopefully you got that extra hour of sleep and took advantage of it rather than like me waking up an hour earlier than I'm supposed to. But on that note, we'll go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. If you're looking for something to do, of course, you could check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is over 40 videos and over 11 hours of content where I teach you how to set up your own charts and indicators in TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. And do a lot of deep diving into the historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market to understand how the past bull runs have worked and the past altcoin cycles have worked, along with a lot of research that really helped improve odds, along with teaching you about crowd behavior, meme coin mania, and emotional management, one of the hardest things out there. There's also downloadable spreadsheets in here so you can print stuff out for yourself or just save it there on your hard drive. It's $39 one time, no recurring subscription fees for this, and you can check that out on bcbacker.com. I do also have a newsletter that I put out twice a month. This last one has been the most popular one that I've done. This is a subscription newsletter over here. This is Decoding Altcoin Performance, a deep dive into developer data, how high developer activity coins have outshined the top market cap rankings. In this most recent one, we did a deep dive into the top 20 by market cap versus the top 20 by development activity from 2020 to see who would have been the better performer. To prove it, that actually the developer activity coins ended up being the better performers versus just going for a shopping spree here on CoinMarketCap, that actually the market does a pretty poor job at pricing in which ones are the top coins or the top performers just based on their market caps. And this is usually where most people go. But we went through there and showed the data of how it was that whatever had the most activity on it, well, that basket performed better than a basket of the top by market cap. So that's a case study that's done in this newsletter. Then, of course, we also show which ones are the top 20 currently right now by developer activity. And you can check that out over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com. There's a link in the description of each of my videos there to bcbacker.com and to blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, I hope you are having an absolutely wonderful weekend, and you should hopefully be waking up to enjoying some green. Till the next one, till tomorrow, have a great rest of your weekend. All right, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.